So we got the official release, guys, of the AXL update. It's actually going to be called the Hairy and Scary update, which I think is super cool. I think that fits the theme so well for AXL. He's hairy and he's definitely scary, and we're going to have to fight him. He's going to be dropping September 30th, which I am super hyped for, everybody. But the only thing is you do need to join the PTB, which is the public test beta. In order to join this on Xbox, you pretty much have to join the Xbox Insider Hub. Once you join the Xbox Insider Hub, you'll have access to the preview, and you'll be able to jump in and play, which we're actually going to cover this for you guys here and how to access that. But I just kind of want to talk about the stream in general because it did drop a lot of really cool things. So I'm very, very excited. And let's get into it. So now, again, we're going to talk about AXL first, just really quickly. With AXL, again, he's been confirmed September 30th. Super excited. They did announce that we will need to find the recipe, just like we used to do in Grounded 1 with all the other bosses, you know, with the Broodmother BLT and all that stuff. We're going to have to craft them. So I wonder if they're going to bring in the ovens, or unless it's just going to be just a random craftable thing we can do from the crafting table. But it is going to be a recipe, and I'm assuming we're just gonna be able to pick it up in AXL's arena, pretty much. That's my biggest guess, because I mean, they said that AXL's not really part of the main story. I mean, he has some lore and everything in the game, and they said all bosses, all things, you know, aren't necessarily in the main game are gonna have some kind of lore, or it's gonna be at least intertwined in the story of Grounded, regardless, right? So, I'm assuming since he's not gonna be there, it's gonna be in his arena, just like they did with the Wasp Queen. That's what they did with the Wasp Queen. They actually had her recipe there too. So that's what we're imagining. Don't know what it is gonna be yet, but I already talked to my wife, and as soon as we find out what that recipe is for AXL, I'm telling you guys, we're gonna be making it as well. So keep an eye out for that. We've made a lot of the in real life food recipes for Grounded. This is definitely one we're gonna be doing for this early access. So that's gonna be coming again. The recipes are coming back for the bosses, which I think I love that design. So really excited for that. They did confirm that AXL is going to have some different phases. I'm assuming there's gonna be phases just like with the infected Broodmother. If you guys look at the trailer, the Tarantula Buzz does dig in the ground. So I wonder if that's going to trigger like the different phases. And they're saying there's a lot of really neat things in this boss fight that's going to blow us apart, blow our minds, you know what I mean? So it's just like, I'm very, very excited to see how this boss fight is going to go about. The executive producer did say that this is going to be a really hard fight. Really hard fight. They said bring heals, you know, make sure you're kitted up, bring your buggy, because it's going to be a very difficult fight. And the executive producer even issued a challenge to everybody.
You won't fight it with the Pebble Sphere on woe mode. You won't do it. You can't beat it. That's my challenge.
So I think I'm going to try to fight AXL with my friends in the community first, kind of get a feel for him. And then I will definitely do my solo run with that Pebble Spear and take on AXL in woe mode. I'm gonna do my best. I think that's super dope. Let me know if that's something you guys are gonna attempt too, because I would love to see that as well. Because if you guys can do it, that's gonna be insane. They threw out a challenge for AXL. Very excited for it, guys. Let me know your thoughts on AXL, the update, everything. Super excited for it. And we're gonna dive into a couple more things they did announce in this pretty much Q&A that they did. Now, one thing they did say that's coming in the Hairy and Scary update is pretty much better optimization for people on PC. So they're gonna have about 14 to 16 different settings that you guys can, you know, enable for depending on your rig. Instead of just having like high, low, medium settings, they're gonna, you know, you're gonna be able to customize those settings a little bit better, and hopefully that way that does make the game a little bit more optimized for PC players, because I know that's definitely been an issue. Even on Xbox recently, I've been playing with followers in our community world, and it has been, you know, glitching, you know, there's been a bit of a, you know, lag and everything. So hopefully with these next updates, you know, we'll get some of that fixed. Again, remember guys, this is a constant fix, and if you're going to be joining the test servers, right, the PTB, just remember that this is like a beta of a beta, right? So we're in early access, and we're pretty much doing an early access of that early access before it comes out. So there are gonna be bugs. There is gonna be stuff going on there. So just a heads up on that. Now the actual early access, right? The PTB. So I just want to remind everybody that if you guys never joined the Grounded One PTB, pretty much we're trying out all the updates before it goes live, right? So this we will lose stuff in this game, in the PTB. I remember I built stuff, I did all these things, and when there was when they made fixes to something I didn't like for a boss or certain things, it would wipe certain stuff from my base or progression and all that stuff, because again the PTB is just for us to go out and testing. So I would recommend you guys either copy your current save for the PTB, so you can have two different files. You can have the public test beta, and you can have your original one, and it's separate, because once the update does go live outside of the PTB, you're starting fresh. You can't bring nothing from the PTB over to your main one, right? So that's just in case you guys didn't know that, all right? So either start a brand new save or copy your world and in for the PTB, so that you can play with all your current stuff and go from there. So just remember that. And again, in order to actually access the AXL fight, the update, you need to be in the public test beta. And I'm going to show you guys how to get into that. All right, guys, in order for you guys to access the public test beta, right, the PTB that goes live on the 16th, this is what you do on Xbox. You go to the Xbox store. We're going to go search. You're going to search for the Xbox Insider Hub. Xbox Insider Hub. And you're going to download it, right? Once you download it, launch the app. You're going to be on this screen here. You're going to go down to previews. And once this goes live on the 16th, it's going to be on the available previews right here, right? So you scroll down. We're going to find, we're going to find it. It's going to be something similar to Valheim like this, right? So I'm going to click on this right now. We're going to have the same thing where it's you can participate in the public test for Grounded 2. You're going to join. Again, once you join, you're going to have to, because it's going to ask you about, the conditions and everything. You got to accept. Once you accept, you're going to get brought into the public test, and you're going to have to reset your system, right? You're going to reset. You're going to log back in. Then you're going to open up Grounded 2, and then now you're going to see on the top where it would say 0.12 or whatever, 0.1 or whatever. That's for the current game is going to say public test beta, and then that's how you've officially joined. And if you want to make sure, you go back down to previews, and it'll show you that you've successfully joined the public test of Grounded 2 again. And again, this won't be here until September 16th. So once September 16th comes along, guys, we're gonna be joining in, right? I'm gonna be doing it again to show you guys how to properly join in everything. So this is how you do it. Another thing that they were mentioning here, guys, which I think was really cool, they did talk about the weather effect. I just want to say before we dive into this Q&A sessions that they did, answering questions from the community, I think was such an awesome little detail, man. I love that, they're actually getting into the nitty-gritty stuff that people want to know. They want to know about weather effect. They want to know about new Colossi creatures. They want to know about, new archetypes, new bugs, all kinds of things that they're actually covering these things. And one thing that I thought was really cool, that they even tackled the whole leak situation, right? And I know there's been lots of creators on especially TikTok. TikTok's been crazy with leaks, but there are creators here on the platform on YouTube as well that post crazy videos, people data mining, they're posting all kinds of crazy stuff, for leaks. While they did say that, they're not necessarily fully against it, because they love to see people's reactions to stuff that they didn't expect to make it into the game. And a lot of the stuff that is getting data mined is stuff that may or may not make it, right? So a lot of the stuff that people are showcasing may not even make it to the game, or the concept might change once it fully comes to the game, But they did say they're not necessarily against it, but they're not necessarily for it either. So it's like a 50-50 thing, right? Because they want people to be excited for things, or they want people to be surprised by stuff. And they're very vocal about that, but they understand, people are excited, people are eager to play the game, right? They want to see these things, so, that's why people data mine and all this stuff. But, I know I've covered some leaks and stuff here on the channel as well, but I think I personally as well I'm probably not gonna cover anything regarding leaks from this point forward. I want to respect Obsidian and Grounded. I genuinely want to be surprised for stuff too when things drop. I mean, there's always gonna be people data mining, people leaking stuff, which is okay. That's totally fine. People can do it. That they're able to. But I think I want to stop and just try to be surprised with everything that's going on with Grounded 2. And just go from there. So that's gonna be us. But again, they're not for it, but they're not they're not against it that much, but they're not really happy with it either. So that's coming directly from the devs on this stream. So yeah, guys. So I mean, they talked about the weather effect. They're really trying to manage the weather effect because they had a point. How do you manage drops of water that are a centimeter big, right, dropping down, and either that being either an insta kill or you being stuck in your base or stuck under cover, or something like that for an X amount of time, would that actually be beneficial for people? Are people gonna like it? Are people gonna hate it? Is it gonna improve the gameplay, or whatever? So they're trying to establish a lot of things with it. Definitely something that they've heard the community talk about, something they actively talked about. So I kind of like that. I like that they're actively talking about it. They're listening, and they're even trying to throw their own suggestions about how the weather system could work if they were to add one in the game. So I like that aspect of it as well. That was really, really cool. They talked about Colossus as well. They were talking about how they just don't want to throw things in the game, right? As in, there was a suggestion that I really liked, which was the cat concept, having a cat in game kind of crawling around. And they said yeah, we can throw one in, we can throw a cat in there, walk around, but then people are going to be like, oh, I wish I can fight it. Oh, I wish I can ride it. I wish I can do this. I wish we can get, resources from it. So it's they want to, if they're going to add something, they want to make sure it makes sense in the game. So I don't blame them for that. That's actually a really good, cool idea and really good concept. And whatever they're going to add into Grounded as Colossus, which we are going to be getting more, you know what I mean? They want it to make sense. Maybe fighting the crow might not make the best sense at the moment, but that there's always a possibility they can always change things. But I kind of liked it. I like how open they were with this. I like how, again, they're answering questions to the best of their ability, try not to spoil too much. And just really trying to tackle on everybody's questions. Again, while I know stability, performance is a big thing still. Again, like I said, I'm getting a lot of frame rate drops when I'm playing with people on Xbox. PC players have been having crazy issues, right? So it sucks. And they have said a lot of times that they're currently working through it. Again, if you have any issues, go to support.obsidian.net. You guys can go there, submit your tickets, go to the Discord. You can find a way to submit your tickets there in the Discord as well. You can even find the issue tracker, and you can upvote issues. If the issue's already happening, that someone already added, you can upvote that, and the more upvotes those issues get, the more they're gonna be tackling those issues to fix them and everything. So don't forget that's another thing that they are actively doing in Grounded 2, guys. And I love this. Again, I just want to say this whole Q&A session with the community, I think these are great. They're being very open, very transparent, really talking to us about the process of what's going on. Well, I know we're all very desperate and we want content. I feel like the team in Obsidian right now and their Eidos Montreal as well. They're all working really, really hard to bring us the best content possible for Grounded 2. So I don't mind waiting. I'm excited. I can't wait for the Grounded update. And let me know your thoughts, guys. What did you like that happened in this Q&A? Was there something that didn't answer? What questions do you have? And everything, drop them in the comments, everyone. And I will see you all in the next one.